True. I came back from a short city break, right? Came out
Another
there.
one. Another one. You'll become an
I've
international
been
champion.
holiday mense. I've been holiday mense. So I come out of the airport, Gatwick, straight away, I see a banging Greg's. Right? Long lines, like literally when you come out, I think it was a Southern Terminal, come out of the departures little duty-free thing, straight away Greg's. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I do fancy a Greg's. Fresh pastries. And I just thought to myself, wow, it's incredible just how much this business has progressed. Right? And actually, it was the only thing that I wanted when I came off the airport. There was all sorts of different Pret, etc., but Greg's is just like the only place where I think in the UK where you can actually just get proper hot pastries at any time of the day. Does that make sense?
Yep.
And I remember back in the day, it used to be a morning thing, innit, Andrew? Like they used to kind of lock them off around 4 or 5 or whatever. But I literally had come out of at 9:30. I was still selling pastries. So you can imagine, to my surprise, the next day, I'm chilling in bed. Well, was it the next day? Maybe the day after, right? I'm chilling in bed and I get a notification on my Bloomberg app. Yes, Andrew, my Bloomberg app.
Yeah.
By the way, if I can watch it, the only reason why I have it is because of this podcast. And listen to this headline. So when I think about the word short and Greg's, the only thing I'm expecting is shortbread or short crust or short whatever.
Yeah, short crust pastry.
Yeah, something like that, right? No, short sellers pile into UK bakery chain Greg's. So
Right.
if anyone who hasn't watched The Big Short and all of this jazz, right? Shorting is usually something that you do where you place a bet against the business. So it's almost like an insurance policy. So whilst people buy the shares,
Yeah.
what you do is what you're actually doing is you're saying, I'm gonna borrow these shares.
Right.
And then as an IOU, and then when they tank, right?
Yeah.
When they actually tank, I'm gonna buy them when they tank, and those will be the shares that I borrowed, and the difference in which it tanks will be my profits. Does that make sense?
Right. So
I'll pay you later. It's an I'll pay you later. So imagine, right? You got 100 Greg shares, yeah?
yeah.
And they're at £1 a piece. So I'll say, Andrew, do you fancy lending me those 100 Greg shares right now? But I'll pay you later. I've borrowed them because I know they're going to get cheaper down the line.
Right.
So I'll just wait, and then I basically give them back, and then I sell them straight away. I sell your Greg shares, your 100 Greg shares for £100, 100 at £1 each. So I get £100, and then I just wait maybe a month down the line or 2 months down the line, get it for £60, and I'll just give you the 100 shares back. And that's how a short works.
Got it. So you know what? I'm so glad you've explained that because I didn't understand it. I've watched the film The Big Short, and I still, even with what's her name in the bath trying to explain it, with her champagne, still didn't quite understand it.
Yeah. It took me years. It took me years to come to that understanding. By the way, I've watched that film 24 times, right? And each time I learned something different because I just love it. It's one of my favorite films.
Yeah,
I think
me too.
But yeah, it took me ages to figure out that's the way. That's one of the principal ways that a short works.
So yeah, so if I understand, basically, I know you've got shares in Greg's. I think they're going to drop. Yeah, so I'll get them off you now, sell them at the price that they are now.
Yeah,
and then give them back to you later on when.
Exactly, and then the issue is, and this is what you would have seen in The Big Short, is that if I buy them off you, but they start going up, I need to start paying you interest.
Correct. Yeah. Which is what I had to start doing.
Yeah. So what Michael Burry did was he bet the whole house on it, and then he just kept going up. And then the investors were like, "What are you doing? You're gonna make us go." And then there was there's a threshold until the guy has to basically admit defeat, if that makes sense. But then it all tanked, and the guy was a genius, and he up 40%, etc., etc. So you can imagine, right? Me going, "What? Not sellers?" Because we were talking about this with Tesla last year, and you know what? It's time to say I told you so. Our December episode, we were saying, damn, Tesla's in trouble and BYD's on the up. Andrew, if you look at the graph, they're up like 30% or something like that. They even done a stock split recently, BYD. Obviously, we're not oracles. We weren't to know that Elon Musk was going to go crazy back then.
No.
But people had been shorting Tesla for a long time.
But Mency, I mean, we're no experts, so we're not, by any chance we mean giving advice or anything like that, right? But we're not really looking at market values. We're just looking at markets. That's what we were doing at the time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
What's the strength in electric vehicles? What's the competition? Who's there? And at the time we called it.
Yeah.
We called it. We called it. There was competition out there, and it wasn't from Europe because they were struggling. It was going to be from China.
Yeah, exactly. And then the elections happened, and the rest was really history. It made everything worse. So it goes to show there's so many variables that cause a company to start doing bad. But if you've got your fundamentals wrong, all it takes is one little disaster, be it political, be it whatever it is, to make you tank. And I think that's what's happened to Tesla. But I'm really, really shocked about this Greg's headline.
Well,
because
sorry. So I think Greg's is a real good marketing success story. Yeah, years ago, Greg's used to be, fat people like me went there, and it would be in the less, in the less affluent areas, up north, where the less affluent areas up north, down south in London, etc. And it used to be where you'd go in there for some sausage rolls and blah blah blah. And normally when you look at the type of people that went in there, it was people like me, overweight, blah blah blah. It was a bit of a laughing stock. The whole you went to Greg's but you didn't talk about it. It was it was like a secret sin that you was going to go and have some pastry or a sausage roll.
Yeah, definitely, especially near an office.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never go and I'm going to go have Greg's.
Yeah, well, we all know one person that used to who didn't give a monkeys.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't know if you remember, Mency, several years ago, it's quite a few years ago now, they embarked on an advertising campaign. And the advertising campaign was genius. I mean, genius in the fact that they changed the name from Greg's to Gregory's, and they opened a little store in a polo match. Right, and all of these well-to-do la-di-da people were watching a polo match, and during the half-time, they would go to Gregory's stall, and it was all, old English writing and whatever, and these are delicious, these pastries. They weren't sausage rolls, they were millefeuille or whatever, and all these are delicious, and it was like, and then, they pull off the thing, and it's Greg's. And it was like, I thought it was genius, absolute genius. The stigma of going to Greg's all of a sudden disappeared.
Yeah, it was a bit like what we were discussing one time about Guinness. Guinness did the same thing, and it became that thing. So so there's been good work happening from Greg's for a long time. And then I'll come across this. So I just want to flag it up to you. Look, so they're betting against Greg's. They obviously since the 2020 they'd started doing really well, but apparently they're now investors are like, oh, we're not sure that this can carry on growing at the rate that it's been growing. So they're saying that basically they're expanding their stores from they've got 2,600 stores today, and they're going to grow their stores to 3,000 stores across the country. Now, just to give you a reference, right? I had a little Google of the McDonald's, how many McDonald's stores there were.
Yep.
There's 1,465 McDonald's restaurants in the UK. Yeah. And then if we look at, say, Starbucks. Yeah. Starbucks, again, 1,410.
Yeah.
I think that is really, really, really impressive to see that Greg's has grown so much to the point where it has 2,600 stores in 2020.
I think they're on almost every high street. I see them everywhere now. I didn't know there were airports already, because I'd heard they were looking at airports as a next step, and also I think they're looking at hospitals.
Yep.
Yeah. You know how you used to have some hospitals, I mean, I know, some people like some hospitals have got little subways in them and stuff, and I think they're looking at hospitals as well. But I mean, I've got one down the road from me, and it's taken over the local Greasy Spoon. Yeah, you see they've got a little seating area outside, 2 or 3 tables, tiny, and all the builders stop there. and they get their little
Yeah.
breakfast wraps and a coffee, some, half the price it would, etc. And then they're off again. The funny thing is, they're 2 doors down. There's a Grouts. I don't know if you've ever heard of them, but they've got something like 30 stores, a bakery, and empty. I'm not sure how long they're going to last, but they seem to be very near a lot of Grout places.
Happened in Hackney. There used to be a store called Percy Ingle in Hackney.
Yep.
Have you ever heard of Percy Ingle?
Yeah.
They absolutely they crushed. I mean, Greg's really crushed the competition. And to make the point, there's currently one Greg shop for every 26,000 people.
Wow.
In the population. Imagine. And basically the capacity of growth here, which will be 3,500 shops, suggests that there'll be one for every 19,000 people.
Do you know what
in the country?
I have to say? Do you know what I have to say? I mean, I love a cheese bake, right? And whenever I sort of I'll go and get cheese and onion bake. My wife likes the sausage roll, so we'll get some and off we go. I have to say, everyone I've been at, on none, and I've been to about 7 or 8 different ones, right? The service with a smile has come back, Nancy. Yeah, so every Greg I've visited, I've had service with a smile. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if it's the training or if they're genuinely happy to work there, if they got good pay, good benefits, etc. But it's always service with a smile. And the stuff's fresh. If you go, they go, if you bear me a second, it's just going to come out the oven, and you see them all coming out nice and hot, etc. Whereas when you go to Pretz or whatever, and you see them there all in the warm thingy or the cold.
I agree.
Yeah, you're getting some nice fresh stuff, And
it's one of the few places in the UK, like from a chain perspective, where you're seeing the bread come out of the oven and all that good stuff. I think it's just phenomenal business. But yeah, again, really shocked. So just looking under the hood and really trying to understand, okay, where does this concern come from? Really looking under the hood and trying to figure out, okay, where does this come from? Reading this Bloomberg article, it seems like the main issue stands with the fact that the like-for-like sales of each store. So what they'll say is, okay, not compared to last year, how much have the sales grown?
Yeah.
And I think it was 2024, it was kind of like at the 11% mark.
Right.
2025 is actually now going at like 5%.
Right.
So that was the first concern. The second concern is the fact that, well, as we know, there's a spending crisis in the UK, market confidence, etc. The fact that the prices are now going up as well seem to be a big concern. I mean, I did notice this. I went for a vegan sausage roll, and it was around the £1.30 mark.
Yeah.
And I remember I used to be able to go there, like when I was in the airport, I think I bought a cheese bake, a vegan sausage roll, and maybe a drink or something like that. I can't remember. No, sorry, it was a vegan sausage roll, one pizza, and a cheese bake, and I think a drink, and it did come close to like a tenner.
Yeah.
And I remember it was hard to get to the tenner point in Greg's. So I do know the prices have gone up, and I think that's definitely a concern. So people are going, okay, well, same store sales are going down, and on top of that, things are getting a little bit more expensive, and on top of that, the main strategy seems to pivot around the fact that they're just going to throw more stores at the problem.
Yeah.
So people are like, can it actually maintain that growth? And I think the issue is that the shares have fallen 43% this year, specifically because of that.
Right.
So that was what Bloomberg was saying. So me, I thought, well, for the sake of really understanding this problem, not just regurgitating what Bloomberg is telling us, let's have a little bit of a look at what the big figures are, kind of what the CEO's saying, and just to understand whether it's actually like hype or whether this is going to be a safe business. So looking at the reports, Andrew, just to look a bit deeper into this, these are the main kind of concerns that I saw, right? So total sales growth. So in 2020, that was COVID.
Mm-hmm.
It was at minus 30%.
Yeah.
Then in 2021, it was like a 51.7% growth in sales. Now you can imagine that had to do with all the innovations that came around, deliveries, blah, 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 store expansions. 2022, we're now talking at 23%. 2023, 19.6%. and at 2024 we're at 11.3%.
Right.
Like for sales, well, you'd expect that crazy jump. All the stores will close, and then it's going to look really good the next time. But then it's creeping down, Andrew, to a 5.5%.
Right.
And then when you think about the profits as well, the fact that they keep expanding stores. I mean, 80 new stores, in a short period of time. Regardless of that, it's not really coming up to like loads of growth. So I think all of this is really making these. It's not that the business is failing, but it's just that aggressive growth that markets want. I think that's the reason they're dumping the stock.
Yeah, I think sometimes, markets sort of look at stuff and look at, we must have this growth, must have that growth, etc., etc. I think it's a little bit more difficult to have that kind of growth, especially when you look at the cost of running stores now, with the government adding the national insurance and this, that and the other, and the taxes, etc. So costs must be growing up as well. But you also do get to a saturation point. It's just like, especially seasonal, in the hot summer, do you really want to go and have a hot sausage roll or whatever, etc., etc. But I do feel that they're potentially at a point where they are saturated. I mean, they're in all of the major petrol stations on the main roads, etc. They seem to be everywhere, and maybe they need something new and innovative. I'll be honest with you, I find some of their stuff quite expensive. Like the drinks, I won't buy the drinks there because they're expensive, etc. And people, maybe they need something new. Maybe they need another Gregory's type campaign with a new product, because they had the Gregory's campaign, which really elevated them, and then the vegan sausage roll, which really elevated them more. Because let's face it, it's a really good product, and maybe they need some more of innovative, good new products moving forward. I don't know, but certainly I think there's tons of them. There's tons of them everywhere.
Well, these are the things that I think they've kind of highlighted as concerns. So they've got the dietary shifts, right? Let's be honest. Everything. Well, it still has that image that everything in there is beige.
Yeah, but also, society these days, they're allergic to. The only thing some people aren't allergic to is oxygen. I mean, I was in a fish and chip shop the other day, and the woman asked if the vinegar was what's his name? What's that thing when you can't eat wheat?
Gluten.
Gluten free. Wow. Is the vinegar gluten free?
Crazy.
What am I saying?
Yeah.
Get lost.
Well, this is what I'm trying to say. So that's affecting it. The fact that it has ultra processed foods. Let's be honest. Most of it frozen, and then it gets kind of cooked on site.
Yep.
Healthy eating and eco-conscious. I think that's just the same crap that everyone's been saying. So they did mention that as a bit of a risk. Now you're talking about, okay, what are they doing? So they are introducing healthier options. They've now got kind of a salad range. They're also doing a lot of marketing. So for example, they've just launched a KFC. A KFC collaboration. So let me just show it. It's just for a day. It's a bit. I mean, it's just for a couple of days or whatever. But they continue to do these type of innovation. I thought this was brilliant. Have you ever had KFC?
This is a great idea. What a great idea!
KFC gravy, Andrew.
Do you know what? I had it the first time last week. Only because I think we had the builders round, and I treated him to lunch. And he went, oh, no, I don't want the gravy. So I thought, I'll give it a go. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly. So imagine those bad boys with that gravy.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah. So they are continuing to do, the marketing campaigns that seem to put them on the map. And everyone's gone crazy about that, let's be honest. So that's in the pipeline. Now, let's go back to the report.
Yeah, but do you really want to go to Greggs for a salad? I mean, do you go to Greggs for a salad?
Yeah, but that's how it starts. They're doing the click and collect now as well, Andrew, right?
Yeah.
So that's part of the expansion plan. They're also building massive factories, to help boost their supply chain. What else are they doing? They're also, like I said, in the airport, they're extending their opening times. Andrew, that alone is going to double. 9% of their money now comes from the evening sales.
Imagine rolling out of a pub or a club at 10 o'clock at night, And, walking past a Greg's and going, do you know what? I really fancy a bake or a sausage roll.
Well,
It's going
well,
to take over the kebab.
well, this is my point. So, like, 48.5% of the stores here are now what you said, retail parks,
Yeah.
roadsides, supermarkets, all that type of stuff, right? And then, between 2023 and wait, what is it? But by 2023, they had already opened 226 extra stores. So it's a lot of these micro stores, which I think is
Yeah.
just really. They're doing drive-throughs as well in travel hubs, etc., etc. I think it's brilliant. I think they're doing, the fact that they're doing the night stuff as well. Like you said, on a hot summer's days, they are now starting to do ice drinks as well.
Yep.
Now, let's be honest here. We used to laugh at this when we thought about the McCafe, right? And then it
Yep.
started to make a dent in,
Yep.
in Starbucks' business. And that's why I was putting the Starbucks numbers in terms of the stores and also the McDonald's numbers. Because actually, Greg's is starting to actually, you know, eclipse those businesses
Yeah.
to some
Well,
degree.
this is the thing, right? It's knowing your market, right? If you're Starbucks, right, and you're selling coffee, your Starbucks is for people that are sitting inside, having a chin wag, having a couple of cups of coffee. The McDonald's and the Greg's and whatever are grabbing a coffee and going, right? And
Well,
and
exactly.
Yeah, and that's what their market is going to be. It's like me when I'm driving around the country or whatever, and I stop for petrol and I see a Greg's, I will literally grab a pastry and a coffee and then get back in the car and go.
And you're off. Exactly. So, that's going pretty well for them. And yeah, Andrew, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, they're now doing their own ice drinks. They're now doing kind of coffee in a can. They're still rolling out collaborations. The type of stores that they're looking to expand into are very convenient stores, like you said, the hospitals.
Yeah,
The edges a bit. I always call it the accessorized model. You used to
yeah,
get
yeah, yeah.
businesses just rolling out sales. I think there's a legitimate reason to believe here that Greg's will still continue to grow in profits. Yeah, maybe like for like sales won't, because there's obviously more Greg's. So
Yeah.
people, it will kind of spread out the load. But I think the financial growth has still got loads of potential. And you know what, Andrew? The other thing that kind of struck me the other day, and like you said, like the nightclubs, what's stopping them from doing what the Spaniards do and start selling beer as well? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm trying to say?
yeah.
There's still loads of potential in this business, and yeah, I think it may be an overreaction, to be
I
honest.
agree with you. I agree with you. And when you think of a direct competitor, I mean a direct like for like competitor, there isn't one,
No,
right? The only place you can get like sausage rolls now is maybe in the supermarket, if they happen to have a bakery in thingy. But it hasn't got a direct like for like competitor, unlike the burgers and the chicken and the what have you.
yeah,
And
I'm actually shocked. I think that this business has replaced the Britain's pie and mash shop, and all it has to do is just roll
absolutely,
out the mash. I'm surprised it hasn't rolled out hot mash yet. It's toying with the gravy,
yeah,
slap it in the mash, and we've just got the nation's new Weatherspoons pie and mash shop. Let's be honest.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think this has still got loads of room to grow. And I
I think it's got things like it could look into into if it spreads out enough, you can look into the catering side, like little corporate parties, birthday parties. There's a lot of stuff. I think there's a lot of legs in this company. It's got a strong brand. It's got
yeah,
a great following, and emotionally, they've done nothing wrong. I've never been. I will slag off McDonald's every now and then because I've got something. To me, so far, they've not done anything wrong. Nothing wrong.
McDonald's. We're already slagged off McDonald's saying that look, the drink is not fizzy, the chips are stale. Even if you go on site, you're still not getting piping hot food. It's just,
And
it's,
the
it's just bad
slow
quality.
service now, the
It's
whole
just
point of it.
it's not. It's just it's just going down all over. You
Yeah,
think
I mean,
about it.
McDonald's drive-through. You drive in, that takes forever to get through the drive-through. You get to the
Yeah,
drive-through, and then they tell you to park up.
this is what I'm
Well, I
trying to
might as
say.
well have just gone inside.
Well, this is my point. Same thing with KFC. KFC is going downhill. Their chips are getting reducing and reducing and reducing in size, and people are not happy about it. Yeah, I just don't see where Greg's is going to have healthy competition, and its brand is just getting
Yep.
stronger. stronger and stronger by the minute. Its range is growing.
Yeah.
Its presence is growing. I don't see many people kind of slagging them off per se.
No.
Yeah,
No, and the availability. You know, if they're available at 9, 10 o'clock at night, I'm telling you, people will walk past in the middle of the night after being out for, you know, drinks or whatever, and they'll grab a few sausage rolls or a pasty or whatever, and they'll be on their way.
absolutely. They've got one in Trafalgar Square, for God's sake. I never thought that they could have a Greggs in such prime real estate,
Yeah.
and it just goes to show. So yeah, I just wanted to flag that one up to you. Usually, we hear headlines like this and we go, "Yeah, doomed." Do you know what I'm trying to say? It's crap. We don't understand the strategy. We don't know where this is going. Blah 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 blah. Greggs is not one of them.
No, I agree. I mean, I think, like you say, you know, I think strong brand, likable brand, good products, freely available, still cheap. Yeah, still cheap. You know, it's no more expensive than having a Big Mac meal or whatever. And I think maybe they're, you know, these financial people, maybe they're jumping the gun a little bit. I don't know.
I think they're just jumping the gun because maybe they have other options for different things. But no, I don't think it's going anywhere. So this is a fun.
Good one to keep an eye on because. I mean, we did a similar thing with one of the retailers. Was it Boohoo? I can't remember.
Boohoo screwed. Boohoo are screwed. We actually spoke about ASOS, so maybe we should do a little recap on ASOS.
Yeah, maybe a recap on that. And honestly, you know, despite people hating the Weatherspoons thing, you know what, they're doing really well as well.
Yeah, they've gone up 30% since we've done the episode. You know, all of the markets listen to us.
You know, honestly, I think somebody needs to send us a check somewhere. I don't know who, but somebody needs to send us a check.
Well, this is it, Andrew. I just think it's very interesting just to see like some of these businesses bounce back. And yeah, Weatherspoons is doing very well. Curry's is doing amazing.
Yeah.
They're up like 43% since we last reviewed them. Maybe we should start taking our own advice, Andrew.
Maybe we
It
make
goes to show, to our audience, it goes to show, you know, it just has to make sense. It just has to make sense. If you're going to invest in something, if you're going to look at something, really say to yourself, is this justified? With companies like Tesla, I just weren't seeing the Teslas lining up on my street, if that makes sense, right? And you know, for it to amalgamate to the price of every car company at the time, it just didn't make sense. With BYD.
And this was prior to, what's his name, going bananas and whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, it was prior to that.
It's there. And then if you think about BYD, the cars are bloody dancing, for God's sake. I mean, they're doing all sorts of stuff. And you could see the numbers. They were selling loads in India. They were selling loads in South America. I mean, I recently come from Colombia and I saw loads of BYD cars, Andrew. It was ridiculous what I was seeing there. And then you go, you know what? This makes sense. So yeah, it is a bit of common sense. And yeah, in conclusion, I think Greggs will be fine this year. Agreed. Cool. All right then.
Cool. That was my first one for a long time.
Click like if we brought something to your attention that mattered, and yeah, do comment if you think we're talking out of our ass.
Yeah.